Secretary will read the Senate file number.
Senators Marty and Klein introduced Senate File Number 164, Bill for an Act relating to health modifying electronic monitoring requirements.
The Senate file is given its first reading and referred to the Committee on Rules and Administration. Remaining under motions and resolutions, the Secretary will read an author's motion.
Senator Nelson moves that the name of Senator Miller be added as co-author to Senate File Number 149.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. Opposed, say no. Motion prevails. Senator Benson.
Mr. President, I move that Senate File 19 be withdrawn from the Committee on Rules and Administration, given its second reading and laid on the table.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. Opposed, say no. Motion prevails. The Secretary will give Senate File 19 its second reading.
Senate File Number 19.
Second reading. Senator Housley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that House File 41 be taken from the table.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion prevails. Senator Housley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that an urgency be declared with the meaning of Article 4, Section 19 of the Constitution of Minnesota with respect to House File Number 41, and that the rules of the Senate be so far suspended as to give House File 41 its second and third reading and place it on its final passage.
Members, just a reminder, this motion requires 45 votes to prevail. On the Housley motion to suspend the rules, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, say no. We'll take a brief pause to gather the votes of the members in alternate locations. Receiving a sufficient number of aye votes, the motion prevails. Senator, let's see, House File 41 will be given its second reading.
House File Number 41.
Second reading. Senator Benson.
Thank you, Mr. President. House File 41 is the rate increase for CCAP. Members, we have been receiving federal child care block grant add-ons for the years 2018, 2019, and 2020. We were not in compliance for the necessary rates for those years. This bill is the first step in bringing us into compliance so that we can access those funds, as well as some of the CARES child care add-on funds. So members, our current CCAP rates are set based on a 2011 survey. We are updating that to the 2018 survey, and those rates stay in effect going forward. And we are remaining at the 25th percentile of the most recent market survey, that is the 2018 survey, and through technical assistance with the Department of Human Services, we believe this brings us into compliance enough that we can get the money both for the CARES child care assistance and the block grant add-ons out to child care providers over each of the next 3 years, approximately $20 million in the next fiscal year, $32 million in the year following, and then $32 million in 2023. Members, our child care providers have gone through a lot, being shut down through COVID, remaining in place for the essential workers while the rest of the workforce perhaps withdrew their children. And so we think this is an important step to help stabilize some of those providers and make good use of federal money that has been sitting since 2018 in some cases. So members, I am happy to stand for questions and would appreciate your support.
Discussion on House File 41. The Secretary will give the House File its third reading.
House File Number 41, a bill for an act relating to human services, modifying the child care assistant provider reimbursement rates.
Third reading. Any final discussion on the bill? Senator Hayden.
Good. Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Benson, for bringing the bill. It is needed. I'm glad that we were able to work together and get this to this point, and gladly would vote for it.
Members, any final discussion on House File 41? We're on final passage of House File 41. Seeing no further discussion, the Secretary will take the roll. Members in the retiring room, please come to the chamber to vote. Members in room 303, please come to the chamber to vote. Members in the President's office, please come to the chamber to vote. Members in room 323, please come to the chamber to vote. Members in room 237, please come to the chamber to vote. And members in room 206, please come to the chamber to vote. I'll now call on Senator Frentz to report the votes of the members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Frentz.
Thank you, Mr. President. For Senator Carlson, I report aye.
Senator Carlson votes aye. Senator Frentz.
For Senator Eaton, I report aye.
Senator Eaton votes aye. Senator Frentz.
For Senator Lane, I report aye.
Senator Lane votes aye. Senator Frentz.
For Senator Latz, I report aye.
Senator Latz votes aye. Senator Frentz.
For Senator Newton, I report aye.
Senator Newton votes aye. Senator Frentz.
For Senator Pappas, I report aye.
Senator Pappas votes aye. Senator Frentz.
For Senator Rest, I report aye.
Senator Rest votes aye. Senator Frentz.
For Senator Sparks, I report aye.
Senator Sparks votes aye. Senator Frentz.
And for Senator Wickland, I report aye.
Senator Wickland votes aye.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'll now call on Senator Jasinski to report the votes of the members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Anderson B. votes aye.
Senator Anderson B. votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Chamberlain votes aye.
Senator Chamberlain votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Gazelka votes aye.
Senator Gazelka votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Hall votes aye.
Senator Hall votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Howe votes aye.
Senator Howe votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ingebrigtsen votes aye.
Senator Ingebrigtsen votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Jensen votes aye.
Senator Jensen votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Lang votes aye.
Senator Lang votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Osmic votes aye.
Senator Osmic votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
And thank you, Mr. President. Senator Westrom votes aye.
Senator Westrom votes aye. All members having voted who have the desire to vote, the Secretary will close the roll. There being 66 ayes and 1 nay, The bill is passed and its title agreed to. Remaining under motions and resolutions, Senator Housley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that House File number 63 be taken from the table.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion prevails. Senator Housley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that an urgency be declared within the meaning of Article 4, Section 19 of the Constitution of Minnesota with respect to House File 63, and that the rules of the Senate be so far suspended as to give House File 63 its second and third reading and place it on its final passage.
Members, a motion to suspend the rules requires 45 votes to prevail. On the Housley motion to suspend the rules, all those in favor say aye. Opposed say no. We'll take a brief pause to gather the votes of the members in alternate locations. Receiving a sufficient number of aye votes, the motion prevails. The Secretary will give House File 63 its second reading.
House File number 63.
Second reading. Senator Rarick.
Thank you, Mr. President. House File 63 is a bill to make it a little change to our unemployment insurance program to help some people out right now who have been affected by COVID-19. And I'm happy to say that neither the Chamber or Propane are opposed to this bill. So what House File 63 will do is change a provision in the shared work program. And what the shared work program is if a company is needing to reduce hours, instead of laying somebody off, they reduce everyone's hours so that they don't lose any of their employees. And then everyone is eligible to apply for unemployment. And they get a little bit of supplement to their income through unemployment, and they continue working and getting their wage. The company does get charged on their unemployment rate. So this is not, it would be similar to if they laid someone off, but this way they have access to their employees, their same employees, when business comes back and they're ready to go back to full capacity. This will have no cost to the state of Minnesota right now because under the provisions with COVID-19, the federal government has agreed to pick up all costs to the states that have this shared work program. Minnesota is one of 27 states that has a program like this. We're a bit of an outlier. The one thing here in Minnesota that we have that no other state has is a provision that requires an employee to have worked at the place of business for 12 months prior to being eligible for this program. What this bill would do would reduce that requirement to 3 months until December 31st. So that is the change. I believe it is something that when we come back next year, we should be looking at to look at amending and trying to change going forward as well. But that will be a change that would help a lot of people because especially we know right now with COVID-19, workforce hours are being diminished, and this would allow companies to maintain their workforce that's trained at their company, so that when they are back and ready to go to full strength, they'll still have their folks. So with that, I would stand for any questions.
Discussion on House File 63. The Secretary will give the bill its third reading.
House File Number 63, a bill for an act relating to employment.
Third reading. Final discussion on the bill. Senator Rarick, any final comments?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. One last thing. I know there were a number of members that had hoped to make some amendments to this bill. There are some other unemployment insurance things that we would like to work on, and I hope we will continue to work on them if we come back. One of those provisions would be to help students, 16 and 17-year-olds who have jobs and they have lost their jobs during this time. They are ineligible for unemployment benefits. We have seniors who get Social Security income. They are working jobs to supplement that, and they're having some hits when they get on unemployment. And then we also have a bill in front of us that we're working on to help those up on the range at the mines. And so I hope we can continue to talk about those three issues as well and be ready to work on them when we come back again. Thank you, Mr. President.
Members, we're on final passage of House File 63. Seeing no further discussion, the Secretary will take the roll. Members in the retiring room, room 303 and the President's office, please come to the chamber to vote. Retiring room 303 and President's office. Members in rooms 323, 237, and 206, please come to the chamber to vote. Rooms 323, 237, and 206. Senator Frantz, please report your members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Frantz.
Thank you, Mr. President. For Senator Carlson, I report aye.
Carlson votes aye. Senator Frantz.
For Senator Eaton, I report aye.
Eaton votes aye. Senator Frantz.
For Senator Lane, I report aye.
Lane votes aye. Senator Frantz.
For Senator Latz, I report aye.
Latz votes aye. Senator Frantz.
For Senator Newton, I report aye.
Newton votes aye. Senator Frantz.
For Senator Pappas, I report aye.
Pappas votes aye. Senator Frantz.
For Senator Rest, I report aye.
Rest votes aye. Senator Frantz.
For Senator Sparks, I report aye.
Sparks votes aye. Senator Frantz.
And for Senator Wickland, I report aye.
Wickland votes aye.
Thank you.
Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Anderson B. votes aye.
Anderson B. votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Chamberlain votes aye.
Chamberlain votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Gazelka votes aye.
Gazelka votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Hall votes aye.
Hall votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Howe votes aye.
Howe votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Ingebrigtsen votes aye.
Ingebrigtsen votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Jensen votes aye.
Jensen votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Lang votes aye.
Lang votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Osmic votes aye.
Osmic votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Westrom votes aye.
Westrom votes aye. All members having voted who have the desire to vote, the Secretary will close the roll. There being 67 ayes and 0 nays, the bill is passed and its title agreed to. Remaining under motions and resolutions will revert to introduction and first reading of Senate bills. The Secretary will read Senate File Number 165.
Is this it, 165? Yeah. Okay, got it. Senators Hayden, Kent, Champion, Torres Ray, and Franzen introduce Senate File Number 165, a bill for an act relating to state government, making Juneteenth a state holiday.
Senate File 165 will be given its first reading and referred to the Committee on Rules and Administration. Remaining under motions and resolutions, the Secretary will read an author's motion.
Senator Weber moves that the names of Senators Utke and Goggin be added as co-authors to Senate File Number 143. Senator Westrom moves that the names of Senators Lang, Pratt, and Draheim be added as co-authors to Senate File Number 146.
On those authors' motions, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion prevails. Senator Benson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we recess to the call of the President. Members, negotiations are ongoing. As we know, this time of session, it gets a little fluid, and so GOP members, I'm suggesting you return to your office and pay attention to your email.
Senator Kent.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm seeing that Senator Gazelka isn't here, so I don't know if Senator Benson has much more information, but if Senator Benson would please yield.
Senator Benson will yield. Senator Kent.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Benson, we have been told that the plan of the Senate GOP is to adjourn at midnight. If you're talking about a recess now, what does that mean, do you think, for the rest of this night?
Senator Benson.
Senator Kent, I have not been told that we will be back at midnight. I have been told that we are to recess and watch our emails, and that is the extent of the information I have for you now.
Senator Kent.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Senator Benson, I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. What we have heard is that the intent by the Senate Republican majority is to adjourn at midnight. And so that's why I'm curious. We've got about an hour till that time. Are you thinking we're going to run later than that? Do you have any idea what the plan is?
Senator Benson.
Thank you, Mr. President and Senator Kent. Senator Gazelka is very open to getting things accomplished, and so if we feel like there is a path to getting things accomplished, I do not believe he is going to shut that off.
Well, thank you. That is very good news. I appreciate it.
Senator Benson renews her motion that the Senate recess to the call of the President. I said, okay, just making sure. That could be bad. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. The motion prevails. The Senate is in recess.